Everyone, welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. This is your preview for the game against Real Betis in the last 16 of the Europa League. Quite an important game to bounce back from, with that horrible defeat to Liverpool still lingering. I'm sure the lads are eager to see a good performance tomorrow night. Sam, you'll actually be at Old Trafford tomorrow. Hopefully it's not a repeat of Sunday, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely freezing tomorrow apparently as well, so I don't want to be sat freezing my ass off at Old Trafford and have a shit game or even get beaten. So yeah, let's hope we bounce back with a win.
Absolutely. Are you confident we can bounce back, Dan?
Yeah, surely, because we have beaten Barcelona, so teams are now the incoming teams won't be that great. So we are easy on that.
Before we get stuck into the preview, guys, please do us a massive favour. We currently have 1,318 Real Red subscribers, and we want to make this channel absolutely blow. But before we can do that, we need your help. So if you want to join the community, please click that subscribe button, and you will not regret it. There's going to be a watch along for this game tomorrow night, me, myself, and Irene. So if you want to come and join me, we'll interact throughout the full thing, and I'll be live from 7 o'clock for team news. So make sure you don't miss that. It's warm-up time, lads. I asked these lads a series of questions related to the upcoming fixture, so let's see how sharp the brains are. I'm going to start with a relatively easy one. So, Manchester United are obviously set to meet the Spanish club Real Betis for the first time ever in a competitive fixture tomorrow. But which Spanish team have United played the most, do you think?
Barcelona.
Straight off the bat, Dan's coming in firing. Hot! Going in firing. Barcelona 15 times we've played them, which even when you consider having played them the most, it still doesn't seem like a lot, does it, in fairness? So,
it's been a few finals.
Barcelona 15 times.
There's been a few finals, though, in that, so.
Yeah, and a very, very recent game between us as well, which we won, which is why we're playing this game. So, this is a segment. If this is the answer, what is the question? So I tell you the answer, then you have to tell me what the question is. The answer is 0.
Times we've played Real Betis. Like in competitive.
Yes, smashed it. Yeah,
we had a friendly, didn't we, during the World Cup? But apart from that, we played them.
Yeah, you're on fire. You're on fire.
The first thing came to my mind was 0. With the 0 is the amount of goals we scored in the last game.
Why, Dan? Why are you bringing this up, Dan?
We're trying to get over it. Yeah. We're trying to get over it, Dan.
Move past it, Dan.
Okay, next. The answer is 5th. What is the question?
Where Real Betis are in La Liga.
Yeah. Straight on it again. Smashing it today. This one is a little bit hard, so I'd be surprised if you get this. The number 10.
Is that their striker? How many goals he's got?
Yeah. Fucking hell. Well, are you all right? You feel you ought to put a lottery on today, mate?
I'm just guessing. I'm making guesses. So.
Sam, did you visit Nick today?
yeah, just a little secret conversation. That's
right. I took a guess because I was like, the only things that make sense. Like, because I was thinking about the league position, I was like, it's got to be Barca, Real, Atletico, and then they've got to be 4th or 5th. So,
yeah. Well, their striker, Borja Iglesias, is on 10 goals. Who's absolutely spot on with that. Yeah. Who has a higher goal difference in the league, Real Betis or Manchester United?
It's got to be Betis now after Sunday, hasn't it?
What do you think?
Betis.
By 1. Literally by 1. So Real Betis have 7 goal difference.
Have they been battered this season?
They just don't score that many, to be honest. They're not a high scoring team. Man United have got 6. So yeah, we would have been significantly ahead of them if we would have asked this question prior to Sunday. So but unfortunately we got dicked 7-0, which we're still trying to forget. Now, the Europa League is another potential trophy for Mr. Erik ten Hag. We've got to try and put the Liverpool game in the 90-minute nightmare box and just move on from that. Because, in fact, actually, let me touch on that. If you haven't seen that 90-minute nightmare show that we did yesterday, it's a belter. It's an absolute belter. Yeah. So make sure you go check that out and watch it after this show.
Stay to the end. Stay to the end of it as well. It's worth it.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, it wasn't just a couple of players who were bad on Sunday. It was the whole team. The confidence will be knocked, but equally they'll be hungry to put on a dominant display. Real Betis are not a bad side at all. They recently drew with Real Madrid 0-0 at home. They've only lost 1 in the last 5 games, and in the Europa League, they topped the group with 16 points, winning 5 and drawing 1. Does anyone know who that draw came against?
Barca?
Nope.
Oh, in
Jose
the
Mourinho's team.
Oh, Roma.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Europa League?
Roma,
I thought you meant La Liga. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, my bad if I didn't specify that. So yeah, you got one draw in the group stage, and then they won the other 5 basically. And obviously, from their perspective, I'm sure they'll look at that defeat on Sunday to Liverpool and take confidence from it. But it's about bouncing back in style. And I think we can put on a clinic tomorrow night. Sam, how much will that result on Sunday affect these players? Do you think?
Honestly, I'm not sure. The positive side of me wants to say we'll bounce back and we'll go on a run because that's what happened when we got beat by City. That's what happened when we got beat by Villa. Like, we went on a run of games where we just like absolutely smashed it out of the park. So part of me wants to say that and we'll be fine. We'll go on a run a bunch of games towards the international break. But we didn't have the fatigue and the possible injuries mounting up that we do have now that we had when we back then. Like, we've got Eriksen and Donny out for probably the season. Bruno has played an absolute... I think he's missed 2 games ever for United through injury, Bruno. So he's definitely overplayed. Casemiro, Varane and Shaw faced late fitness test, I believe, before the Liverpool game. So they might not be 100%. And then you wanted to be looking at dropping in players possibly as well and like rotating. Like, it could be tricky because if you play players with knocks or overtired players, you could be on the end of a loss. But if you over rotate too much, then again that might upset. Like, it's a weird conundrum we're in. So I'm not 100% confident going into this at all, like I was in previous incarnations. And obviously, the one thing these players clearly don't have still is a strong mentality. It reared itself at the beginning of the season. Brighton and Brentford got absolutely smashed, and then Ten Hag managed to turn it around, but then it's not gone away this season. Beaten by City, beaten by Arsenal, and then absolutely smashed by Liverpool's and Villa as well. So there's clearly something that needs to be worked on within this team. There's still hangover from Ollie's season. There's still something not right mentally. So I don't know if that comes with time. The more time Ten Hag gets with him, I was hoping that trophy win would do something, but obviously not. So yeah, it's very hard to call right now. I'm not 100% confident at all.
It's mad to consider it because if you look at the game at the Etihad and the game at Anfield, both of them games combined, we conceded 13 goals. Yeah. 13 goals. You're like, fucking wow. Under Ten Hag, you just don't think it can happen. But it's still a lot of the players who we've praised so much this season, but are still putting in them kind of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer performances that you saw at Watford, that you saw at Liverpool as well. Like, there is something mentally there. I don't know what it is, but I think I've seen something online about Ten Hag getting these players to talk to psychologists a little bit more and get to the root of that problem, whatever it is. But even still, with the players that were on the pitch on Sunday, you had Casemiro, Lisandro, Varane, like absolute mentality monsters, and we still lost 7-0.
That's why I think they weren't 100% fit, because they faced fitness tests beforehand, and I think Ten Hag gambled because obviously we don't have squad depth to rotate. And against Liverpool, if you drop Casemiro, Varane and Shaw, that's your spine gone. It's done. You then have to sort of face Liverpool with McTominay, Lindelof and Malacia. Yeah. And then people be calling for his head then, wouldn't they? It's like, why are we not playing your strongest team? So it's... And
the thing with mentality is like if you're having positive results and positive environment around you, or the positive news around you, that builds the level to some extent. But when if you have 10 good news and then you suddenly hit a one bad news, then it will like overpower like anything. So whatever we have achieved before Liverpool game now may seem like nothing in front of this loss, because that's how the mentality works. But we have to come back again and prove ourselves that how we were in form before Liverpool game.
And just on that, to kind of flip it to the positive side of the coin, we've been quite strong in the Europa League, Dan, aside from the Sociedad game, which was just boring as fuck. We looked good against Barcelona as well in both legs. What positives can we take from our performances in the Europa League into this game?
Yeah, if you see all together, we are having an upper hand against the La Liga teams this season. If you consider, even against Sociedad, we are still drawing against them because we lost the first game at home, and then we won the away game. So that was, both the games were 1-0. So it's a draw in that portion. But then we beat Barcelona in their home ground. We have drew the game and scored two goals, and then won the game in our home game. And Barcelona is, even though we may not see Barcelona team as the level of Xavi, when Xavi, Iniesta, Messi were there, but now still they are top of the league, and they are like around 8 to 9 points clear of the second team, Real Madrid. So they are still they are still in the top of the table. So we have beaten them. So who are in good form in their local leagues. So now beating Barcelona in itself will give a huge amount of boost to us, especially when you consider this Europa League, because Barcelona could be one of the dangerous team in this league, considering the way they are playing and the players they are having, the youngsters. So we have beaten them now. I think we have that confidence to beat the other teams.
Yeah, it's weird because there's been like some kind of weird like this Spanish spell cast over us in previous games where we've always struggled against them. But with like you said, them games, particularly the Sociedad game, was boring as fuck. That was just one of them games that was just weird. There was a dodgy handball in it, and they ended up winning it 1-0, which is why we had to play Barca in the playoffs. But apart from that, I think the away leg we beat him. I think Garnacho scored in that. The 2 legs against Barcelona, so you have to take confidence from that. What is one critical thing we need to address, Sam, coming into this game and coming away with the result as well? If you identify the performance on Sunday, I'm sure there's many things you can pick out, but what's the one critical thing for you?
It's what we've just already touched on, it's mentality and complacency. Like, I think that they're the two things that clearly were lacking, or the in complacency side was clearly in effect, because we literally threw in the towel and gave up after 3-0 against Liverpool, despite looking really, really good in the first half. Well, not really good, but we looked competent in the first half. Looked like
Decent
we could get
enough.
something, like we could get something out of the game, a draw, or maybe even snatch a win. And then after the third goal went in, we just capitulated and just went, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno had one of his worst performances I've ever seen in my life. Shaw equally, and then all the other players didn't cover themselves in glory either. So mentality is number one. Like Ten Hag has to get these players right and be like, look, what you did on Sunday was unacceptable, but I will give you, because of the good stuff you've done, I think you need to, I'll give you an opportunity to redeem yourself. Like, this is an opportunity to get back on track. And if they don't, and they continue on, there's going to be some heads rolling. Like, Ten Hag ain't going to stand for it. Like, he won't stand for it. They'll go train with the under-21s. Like, that's how Ten Hag is. So I think that is number one. But I think we need to make sure we're not complacent either. Real Betis are not a rollover team. You're not going to be able to smash them. Obviously, they're missing 2 of their best players, but I think we still got to watch them. Obviously, Spanish opposition always tricky for us for some reason. I don't know why. Just always is a problem, especially these sort of teams: Villarreal, Sevilla, Real Sociedad. All the lower half of the teams in Spain, always a problem every single time. So I just think, complacency and mentality, they're the 2 things we've got to make sure. If we get that right, our quality should shine through and we should be fine. But they need to be on.
I thought it was interesting in the press conference. Marcus Rashford got asked about that complacency mentality that you're talking about there. And he said, it's nonsense, we didn't give up or whatever, blah, 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 which obviously to fans, it seemed like that on the pitch. And he went on to talk about the pressing structure and how the midfield and the attack just wasn't connected, and then the midfield and the defence wasn't connected. So they were still doing things in the game, but not doing it cohesively as a unit, and that's why the gaps in the game basically were exploited by Liverpool and the counter attacks as well. So I thought that was an interesting comment from Rashford. In regards to both oppositions, Dan, what's your view of the levels between both leagues? Because there's been many opinions surfaced on social media and stuff saying La Liga is absolute dog shit compared to the Premier League. The Premier League are miles ahead of them. You've got Betis who are 5th in La Liga, or Liverpool who are 5th in the Prem. How big of a gap do you think it is in terms of quality?
I think the gap is still big, but but season by season it is closing up, because when I think 3 or 4 years back, it was only a 2-horse race. I mean, the first 2 teams will be like clear off that. Like, even in the mid-season itself, they will come to know that the top 2 teams will be Real Madrid and Barcelona, and they have already surpassed that threshold of dropping the points to third or fourth. But now it's many teams are beating the top teams, and it's more like the points table. If you see it, it looks like more like a Premier League table. But at the same time, that standards are not still at the level of Premier League, because you see the amount of goals they score is not that much great as compared to Premier League, because they are more like a close gap winners. So I mean, the game will go like goal difference with a goal difference of 1 or 2 and not more than that. But in Premier League, if you see, sometimes a smaller team can beat the top team 4-0 and 3-0, and then the big teams can beat the small teams and with a higher huge gap. But this is not happening in La Liga currently. But at the same time, if you compare the quality of the players, the fifth team, if you consider Real Madrid, if you consider Liverpool and Real Betis and compare the player wise, you can see there is a huge gap between the quality. So that's why. But La Liga is a league where they are more dependent to play as a team and not on individual brilliance. But in Premier League, sometimes individual brilliance makes a difference in any game. But La Liga is more like a team game.
Absolutely. I remember Ragnick actually, funnily enough, saying this when he obviously he'd managed in the German league before with Leipzig and Hoffenheim and other teams. And he said that was the difference with the Premier League. Like, you can go in there and a game against Burnley or a game against Everton, stuff like that can still be really, really competitive, as to when Bayern Munich are playing like bottom of the league in the Bundesliga. It's 10 times out of 10, basically it's 4-0, 5-0. So that's the difference in other leagues. I was actually trying to look at the head-to-head before I realised we'd actually never played them before in a competitive game. Sam touched on it before. We played them in a friendly this year, lost 1-0. I think Fekir scored in that game. But in terms of European competitive fixture, we haven't, and this is the first time this season. Can you guys think of the other teams that we played this season where it's been the first time? We've never come across them before.
Trying to think who was in our group. Ammonia and Sheriff. Yeah. I imagine we haven't played them before.
Yeah, they were the ones. They were the ones, them two. Bang on again. So yeah, this is the third team that it'd be the first time playing them. A quick update on injuries and absences. Again, we kind of touched on it a little bit before. Martial's back in training. I doubt he starts, but maybe available.
Does that mean anything? Does that mean anything at this point?
I don't know. Yeah. Lindelof has resumed training as well, which is nice. And apparently Sabitzer isn't available. That's what I saw in the thing before, which is interesting, because I thought this would be a game for him to really start and maybe develop that partnership with Casemiro. So that's a bit of a blow for us. Eriksen and Donny are still long term, as we know as well. So that's the injuries and your updates and all that kind of jazz. Press conference quotes, I wanted to touch on them. Marcus Rashford was alongside Erik ten Hag in the press conference today, and the hot topic on the table was Bruno Fernandes. I just want to get your thoughts on these quotes. So I'll start with Erik ten Hag first. Ten Hag said Bruno will remain captain despite calls for him to lose his armband. He is playing a brilliant season. He has played a big role in us being where we are. Everybody makes mistakes and we learn. I have to learn and he will as well. He is intelligent and I'm really pleased he is our player and he is captain when Harry Maguire is not playing. Sam, do you think the Bruno Fernandes criticism late, do you think it's too harsh?
As a whole, like stripping the captain's armband, I think it's going too far. I think like you don't strip somebody of the captain's armband from one game, unless they do something like what was it Xhaka at Arsenal where he told the fans to fuck off basically. So if he does something like that, then maybe there's an argument. But he didn't have a bad game. He had a bad half. Like he had a bad second half. And Bruno's always had these issues. We spoke about this on the channel many times. His petulance is a problem. It's a serious problem. And he's got the same issues like Martial has. His body language is very negative at times. It's very petulant. It's very chuck his arms up in the air and like for fuck's sake. And he doesn't sort of put himself over as like a Roy Keane type leader or a Gary Neville type leader where it's just like, get your shit together. He'll do parts of that, but then most of the time he's throwing his arms up because he don't get the right pass, or if somebody make like that stuff. I think he needs to iron out of his game because it's getting on my nerves. And I love Bruno. Bruno, like when he came in, one of my favorite players. Like I fucking love Bruno, but that really gets on my nerves. And then the stuff, especially in the Liverpool game, where he gets hit in the chest and he goes down holding his face. Stop that shit. Like it's no need for it at all, man. Especially when we're like 3-4-0 down. Like just fucking give it a rest, man. So yeah, he should face consequences for that poor performance. But stripping the captain's armband, I think, is going a bit too far. But obviously, it's United. Someone has a bad performance at United, or United have a bad performance, everybody leaps on it and just goes, he shit. It's just, it is the way it is. Like, that's the way United is. Like, Jack Grealish was playing shit for what, 6-7 months? Nobody said anything. £100 million player. Nobody said nothing. Now he's obviously performing.
No one cares about City, innit? That's all it is.
But like, no, now he's performing and everyone's going, oh, the Pep's a revelation. Look what he's done for this player. It's just like, yeah, but he was doing shit for 6 months. So I think it is over-criticised, and he wasn't the only player who didn't perform against Liverpool. Let's get it right. He didn't. He's not the only player. Luke Shaw, horrific game. Varane made a lot of mistakes. Casemiro was off it. Exactly. Like, there was a lot of players who didn't perform that game. So I'm not gonna pin it all on Bruno. But as a captain, yeah, he needs to stand up and make better decisions, especially in the way his petulance and his behaviour. He needs to tune that out of his game or focus it in a different way. Because if you want to remain captain, you can't be doing that game after game after game, because it's just not acceptable. And Ten Hag ain't going to accept it either.
It's funny. Go on, Dan.
Yeah, I feel it's too harsh on him at this moment, because it was just reactionary, and that one video that was turned upside down when and was quoted as he's asking to be substituted. So that all made the fan divide in this decision, and the emotions. We know that he's a bit emotional when we are losing and becomes frustrated, and he's unable to control himself at times and becomes like Neymar, and just throwing himself down on the pitch and trying to get some favor from the referee side, and even shouting at referees. And that's being a normal player, on-field player. You can do that, but at the same time, if you are a captain, you have to be an example, mostly when you are losing the game, and when your team needs you, you have to be an example. And but at the same time, I think that it's a bit of a learning for Bruno Fernandes as well, because he has less experience to be a captain. So I think it would be a great learning for him, because he knows that what is going on in the social media and how the people are reacting to him. Even though whatever we are discussing, this has been a point of discussion everywhere. So where his body language has been a question mark for all the fans, and that's where he also may come to know about the expectation of the fans, that fans wants him to stand strong whenever we are losing, and when the team is down, and when the team needs him. And anytime whenever we are losing or we are down, the whole team will be looking at the captain, and that's where the captaincy is really defined. And I think that he has to take this as an example and be a learning, and learn as a captain. We know that as a player, he's not. We know that as a player, his qualities are like skyrocket. But at the same time, as a captain, we need that mentality to be as a captain, and that has to be shown on the pitch. And that this game may help him to learn that quality in the coming days.
It's funny, it's because I saw a comment and someone put Bruno pulls all the girls at the club, the amount of whining that he does. I thought that's absolutely funny as fuck.
The rumours get out of control. Like, there was the picture of Vegas touching the Anfield sign, and then
what was that about, by the way?
Right, I'll just say what the rumour was first. Apparently, it was a rumour, Vegas was a Liverpool fan growing up, and he always wanted to play for Liverpool, and this rumour got out. So then Vegas then had to go on his Instagram and basically go, I wasn't a Liverpool fan growing up. I was an FC20 fan, because obviously he's from the Netherlands. Yeah. I love Man United. I love this club. I'll die for this badge. And that the reason I was touching the badge is because I know Virgil van Dijk's very superstitious about touching the badge. So I touched it before he touched it to sort of psych him out a bit, because obviously it's his Dutch teammate. So he did that to sort of... But there was a rumour saying, he's a Liverpool supporter. He has been a boyhood Liverpool supporter, Vegas, and he's just like, no, it's not true. It's just the same. Rumours just get out of control when Manchester United's involved, doesn't it? It's just, it's the same shit. Like, there was that thing, I can't remember who reported it. But it was like, United players are very unhappy about Bruno being captain, and they prefer somebody like Varane, Casemiro.
Mirror, I think it was, who reported that.
And then Romano came out, who I trust a lot more than the Daily Mirror, basically said, no, it's complete bollocks. They all like him, they all respect him, and think he's a good captain. So it's just rumours getting out of control. United, always the way. It's the same thing.
Well, we're used to it because the last season we saw it so many times. Anytime we had a negative result or anything, it was anything negative surrounding Manchester United, the journalists would jump on it for clickbait. Happens all the time. I've been accustomed to it this year because we've had quite a lot of positive results. But as soon as we get slapped off Liverpool, they all come out of the woodwork. Just a question to both of you, anyone of you can have this. Do you think if Erik ten Hag came into Manchester United and Bruno Fernandes wasn't there, do you think that'd be a player he would look at to sign anyway, naturally? Do you think he's a ten Hag player?
I think he's the Ten Hag player because if we have seen that whenever Ten Hag goes into the market and he'll be looking out for the players who are passionate about playing and being a hard-working player. That's two of the most key factors that Ten Hag looks into a player, and that's already there in Bruno Fernandes, and the qualities are already there. So I think Bruno Fernandes fits the bill for Ten Hag, but if he would have gone for now, I think he would have costed more than 100 million.
Yeah, because I'm seeing a lot of talk at the minute, Sam, with Mohamed Kudus from Ajax, who's very good in that 10 role as well, very capable in possession, works hard as well. But do you think he sees him as overall? He's put him as captain, aren't they? So do you see him as a Ten Hag signing? And do you see a big future underneath him for the next couple of years? Bruno?
Yeah, I don't think we have to be worried about anything with Bruno. I think he loves United. I think Ten Hag sees him as part of that spine in that team, along with people like Lissandro, Rashford, Luke Shaw. You see, like, Ten Hag's nailed his colours to the mast. You can see who the players are that are going to rely on, because you can see the players who have been dropped. Maguire, for example, club captain in all but what he actually is, and he's not played a kick for us really, has he? He's like odd game here and there. £80 million signing, club captain, and Ten Hag's gone, nah, you're not the right profile, not the right sort of player for us, for the way I want to play, and he's dropped him. So I don't think he would have any qualms about going, if he didn't like Bruno or Bruno wasn't the right fit or whatever the issue was, he would drop him. That's just the way Ten Hag operates. So if he's playing game in, game out, there's a reason, because we do have people who can play that 10 role. Like, obviously, before Eriksen got injured, we had Eriksen, but he preferred to deploy him in the 8 position and have Bruno in the 10. He's played Sancho there, but again, Bruno's still on the pitch because he still wants that influence on the pitch. So I think Bruno will be here for as long as either Ten Hag or Bruno wants to be here. That's how I see it. Could I see him going somewhere else? Yeah, of course. Like, players always leave United and people always go somewhere else. There's not many players nowadays that stay at a club for the rest of their lives, is there? Like, it just doesn't happen anymore. So if he goes eventually, fine. But hopefully he wins a couple of trophies before he goes, and a title or a Champions League or something. That'd be good. But yeah, I think he's fine. I think he'd be here for a few years.
Yeah, I agreed. We've got the usuals in the chat. Shah Sam is weighing in on the Bruno situation. It says, Bruno still new to this captain thing. He can't become prime Roy Keane overnight. The criticism's a bit too much. And he always falls back to the Manchester United is one of them clubs that's under the magnifying glass more than any other club, to be honest. Yeah. And when you're the captain of that club, it's highlighted way more.
And because of his body language and the way he presents himself, like his petulance, his arguments, it just gives people fuel to sort of do that. Like Roy Keane, they didn't have anything on him other than, he's a bit of a thug. That's all they had on him. They couldn't criticise anything. They couldn't criticise his leadership, his quality, his passing, his like everything. They had no criticism. The only thing they had is he's a bit of a thug. And that's what they've done. They found something about Bruno to pick on, and then they'll just pull it out of that now.
And Bruno Fernandes is, in some of the way, he is also, in one of the aspects, he is similar to Ronaldo and Messi in a way that if they both are having a bad game and suddenly they will have one chance and they will put in a great pass, and that will change the whole game. That quality is there. That's why he's playing so many games, even though if he's not in a good form. And we know that if he gets a chance and he can do great things, and the creativity is there in Bruno Fernandes, and he has the ability to change the game even in the extra time as well. So that's why he's playing all the minutes.
The stats are there. The stats, like, look at his stats this season. His stats haven't dropped. His stats haven't dropped. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? If the stats start dropping, then be worried. But I'm not worried now.
I'm going to touch on that in a second because Marcus Rashford's been speaking on Bruno as well. He said, Bruno has been a good leader. I love playing with Bruno Fernandes. I don't have anything negative to say. Nobody is perfect. Sometimes you want to win so bad, you end up doing things a little out of character, but I 100% support Bruno and I'm behind him. As a team, we have to support him because he's a fantastic player. We wouldn't be in the position we are in if he wasn't playing games for us. He's a striker's dream to play with, basically, as well, which you've seen over the years. The amount of times they've linked up in massive games to kill teams off so you can't really question it.
If not for Bruno, who would you think can be a player to choose as a captain for our club?
Lisandro, Casemiro, De Gea.
Varane.
They'd be my shouts.
Varane would be on that list.
Varane was captain for France as well, wasn't he? So either one of them, I think you could literally pick out of a hat, and I think any of them would be good, to be honest. But Lisandro, for me, in terms of characteristics, what he brings to a team, that's a captain for me, a winner as well. Like he's obviously won things before.
I like Varane because not only has he got the trophies to back up what he's saying, he won a World Cup, Champions League, everything, but he's also that steady, calm influence. Like Lisandro's that warrior, fighting spirit. Varane's the cool, calm. Just everything's gonna be fine. It's all gonna be good. We've got.
That's why they complement each other so well. Silk and Steel 2.0.
Exactly. So I think Casemiro and Lisandro is probably a bit too early because they haven't been here long enough. I think Lisandro is a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. He's my favorite player at the minute. But I think because Varane's been here for a couple of years now, I think Varane would probably be an option. But I don't see why we need to take off Bruno after one shit game. I just don't think this.
I think it's definitely something we'll assess in the summer, regardless. Anyway, but who would you go for, Dan?
I would definitely go with Varane, same, or De Gea maybe. But I'm not going for De Gea because I want a captain to be on field, not like commanding from the goal line. But Varane would be a good option. But
De Gea might not be here. His contract, he's still not signed a new contract. So
yeah.
And also with Varane, the only thing is if he's injured, then we will end up looking out for another captain. So
that's what I'm thinking as well. Longevity as well, because I don't know what's going to happen. Varane's knees could crumble at any point at this rate. You just don't know at all. Bring it back slightly to the Rashford comments. I wanted to ask, regardless of the manager, I absolutely agree with everything Rashford said there. But regardless of the manager, with Bruno, he's been influential. And if you think about under Ole, even under Ragnick when it was really bad, like he's been the only bright spark at times, and he's absolutely carried us through games. Do you think if he could manage his emotions at times in game, you'd be completely happy with his game, or is there more he needs to refine? Do you think? Are there other points you look at in his game other than the whinging and the petulance and stuff like that? What does he need to improve on?
I think he's a player. I don't think any change has to take place in Bruno Fernandes because he is what he is just because of what he's doing on the pitch. And if he changes anything, then definitely that will change his definition. But when it comes to captaincy, I would like to see a bit of calmness in the situation especially when we are losing the game or we are a couple of goals down. So that's where your captain should stand up and should be seen as a strong person. But in his qualities, I don't think any change is required at the moment because he's a type of player who likes to take risk. And even though in his first I think in first of his season when he said that that's what my game is, to take chances. So that's where I want Bruno Fernandes to play in the same way because that's what makes him as a Bruno Fernandes. But when it comes to captaincy, I would like to see some more to be strong like a Lisandro Martinez type of that qualities, that aggression and the calmness of Varane. So like the combination of Varane and Martinez would be a good option for the captaincy role.
100%. Sam, you mentioned his stats before. Phenomenal. 166 games, 57 goals and 50 assists. Do we read into the stats too much, do you think, as just looking at players? Because obviously it's kind of a bit of a FIFA generational thing, isn't it? But when you actually watch him in game, he has other qualities, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, I pointed out the other thing. I think he's missed one game through injury ever for United. You know what I mean? Like, stats. Yeah, you can make stats to look however you want them to, or like there's certain things of stat padding for certain players, etc. But they always use, when it's United, it's just like, oh, stats tell you whatever you want. But when it comes to other players, it's like, look at his stats, look at his passes, look at like De Bruyne. They say, look at his assists, look at his this, look at it. All right, so why can we use it for De Bruyne? But when it comes to Bruno, it's just, do you know what I mean? I think it's just styles of play. I think because De Bruyne plays football like ballet, it's very smooth passing, silky, all that sort of stuff. Bruno plays football like
a bit more erratic.
Yeah, like a kickboxer. He's just fucking, you know what I mean? He's ducking down and kicking shit. So it's different styles. So I think people, like you said, the FIFA generation, because it isn't like 24 passes into the net, because then Bruno will try these Hail Mary passes that sometimes don't come off, but sometimes do, etc. He's just a different style of player, and it's not attractive to the eye necessarily. So I think that's why people judge him maybe a bit more harshly than, say, a De Bruyne or like a Jack Grealish or something like that, who are different types of players, and people are just like obsessed with him. Don't get me wrong, Kevin De Bruyne is a fantastic player, absolutely phenomenal player, but he's just a different style to Bruno. And Bruno's his stats are right up there with De Bruyne's. Like, I think he even beat him one season, didn't he, in terms of like assist numbers?
Yeah, in terms of that chance creation and stuff, that they're always like pretty level.
So like, if De Bruyne is one of the best midfielders in the league and Bruno's matching him stat for stat, then why is Bruno not in that conversation? Because he plays for United. That's why. Yeah.
I like the point you make about the injuries as well, the consistency. To have a player like that is a manager's dream as well. And not only that, his versatility, he could play on the left, he could play as a 10, he could play on the right. And he's actually played for a false 9, which, didn't essentially work out for us.
He played as an 8 as well, hasn't he? He's played as an 8 for us as well.
Yeah, against Wolves. One of his first games was an 8 as well. So he could play everywhere. He's a really useful player to have. Like we said, if we didn't have him, United fans would know about it straight away. If we didn't have him for a full season, let's say he got a big injury, touch wood, it doesn't happen. But if he did, we would be absolutely devastated. So let's not forget that.
That's why Maguire. That's why Maguire plays so much under like Ollie and stuff like that, because he's never injured. He's always fit. Whereas Varane, like you said, his knees are made of biscuits. Like we couldn't manage. We didn't manage his injuries properly. Whereas Ten Hag seems to be doing that now. He seems to be managing properly. But that's why Maguire played all the time, because he's never injured. He's always available. That's why Bruno plays all the time, because he's never injured. So
absolutely spot on. Right, let's do some quick fire questions, please. Will both teams score?
No.
Will Luke Shaw start?
Yes.
Don't know. I really don't know.
Yes or no?
I'll go no, just to be different.
Will Bruno Fernandes score?
No.
One player who you would drop for tomorrow's game?
Oh, God, I've got a list.
Who's the top of that list?
Oh, Jesus. It'd be Shaw or Bruno. One of them two. I drop one of them.
It's so tough. I would drop maybe rather Varane.
Okay.
I think they'll rotate Varane. I think that he's going to get rotated anyway. So
yeah. Give us a percentage on us winning tomorrow.
60.
70.
Close, very close. So 70 to us, 30% to Betis, 60 to us, 40 to Betis. Prediction for man of the match tomorrow?
Not a United
Rashford.
player.
I'll go with Rashford.
I think we've got Cynical Saint back, haven't we?
Yeah.
Not a United player, you don't think?
What's that guy? Borja Iglesias. Him.
You think he's going to be man of the match?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or their goalkeeper. It might be one of those games. Their goalkeeper just fires a fucking worldie.
Yeah. We'll see. Predicted 11s, please, lads. Dan, do you want to go first?
De Gea, and I would still pick Martinez and Varane. I know that he may be dropped, but I will still pick Martinez and Varane just to come back from the Liverpool loss. And then on the right, I think Dalot will start, and on the left, Luke Shaw. In the midfield, Casemiro, Fred again will start, and then Bruno Fernandes as an attacking midfielder. Then top three would be Anthony, Weghorst, and Rashford.
Interesting. Sam, what are you going for?
De Gea, I think Wan-Bissaka comes in because I thought Dalot had a shit game as well. Lindelof and Lissandro, because I think he rotates Varane out just because he seems to do that a certain Europa League games, unless it's like a mega important one like Barca. I think Shaw's dropped for Malacia. I would have said until I didn't know about Sabitzer, and I would have said Casemiro would have come out. But if Sabitzer's not available, I think he's gonna have to play Casemiro because we don't. I can't imagine he does McFred. I can't imagine he does that because it just doesn't work. Like it really doesn't work. So I'd have to say Casemiro and Fred. I think Bruno again has to start because we don't have an Ericsson, we don't have a Donny, and Sabitzer's not available.
Yeah.
So
Fred is a 10?
No, not again. So yeah, I think Casemiro, Fred, Bruno, and then I think Anthony's dropped, and I think Sancho comes back in. Rashford down the middle and Garnacho on the left.
Very close to my team. What I've gone for there, I've gone De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Lisandro, Malacia for the same reasons as yourself. But I've got McTominay, Casemiro, and Bruno in the midfield, and then I've gone Anthony, Rashford, and Garnacho up top. I think but I forgot about Sancho to be fair. So Sancho could be easily thrown in there instead of Garnacho or Anthony as well. Dan, again, same order. Do you want to start us with score predictions, please?
2-0 United.
Nice, positive. Who scores?
I think Rashford will score and Casemiro.
Okay. Sam?
My head,
score prediction.
My head's saying 0-0. But my heart, if we're trying to be positive, I'd say 1-0 win for United.
Okay. And in your heart, who scores?
Garnacho.
Garnacho.
Viva Garnacho.
I've gone with 2-1, Anthony, Bruno, and then Iglesias for them. Not Enrique, the singer, Borja Iglesias. So let's hope we're right. And we get the result. That concludes the preview, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please click that subscribe button, smash a like on the video. Make sure you follow us on social media as well. Just type in Real Reds Talk on any platform and you should be able to find us. And also, make sure you come and join me for the watch along tomorrow. I'll be live from 7 o'clock with team news, constantly interacting throughout the full thing. So if you want to come join me for that, I always appreciate the company. And if you haven't checked out our 90-minute Nightmare show yesterday, which we did, please go and watch that. It's an absolute belter, as I suggested at the start. It's me, Sam, and Dave. And basically, we're just giving, if you've ever seen Room 101, it's a similar concept. We're just throwing things that we hate about football into a random world. So cheers for coming on, lads. If you've got any final thoughts, you're more than welcome to share.
Yeah, follow the socials, like Nick said, links are all in the thing. We're still trying to work on getting the TikTok back, but we do have a backup TikTok. The link is in the description, so go follow that for now until if or when we get that back, because they don't like to talk. They don't like to talk to us. And then we've got some the international breaks coming up, so we've got some cool new ideas for shows. So keep an eye out for that. We're excited to do that. So yeah, keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, man. Dan?
Yeah, I would say let's get the win and get this progressing bullet train on track.
Absolutely, Dan. That's a perfect way to end it. Cheers, guys. We'll see you for the game tomorrow. Come and join me for the watch along, 7 o'clock. Peace.
See ya.
Cheers.